Hello and welcome to another weekly vlog. It is Wednesday. I don't think I've filmed anything so far this week, so let me catch you up. I am on my way into my mum's. I didn't go in yesterday because I have to go in today and tomorrow, and then I'm in on Friday to have my hair done. I was meant to have it done on Monday, but obviously it was the Queen's funeral, so it was cancelled. Today my mum has a neurologist appointment that she has like once a year. I cannot tell you guys how much exhausted I am. It's quite early in the morning. My dad is not good at getting up in the morning, so I'm taking her in. So I have to get there like 45 minutes before the appointment so that I can mobilize the radio, so that I can take her to the toilet before we leave the house and get her into the car. It's one of those disabled ones that you have to push up a ramp that's a pain in the arse. You've heard me talk about that bloody car anyway before. I would video the process if I could, but it's just too awkward. What else? Tomorrow I'm taking her for her flu jab and the usual, like, because it's in Boots, I usually take her like downtown on a Tuesday to get like whatever she needs, but this week I'm taking her down on Thursday, and then I'm in to get my hair lightened again on Friday. So that's what's going on, folks. Isaac's still enjoying school okay, even though he came home yesterday really nonplussed. We could tell there was something wrong with him, but he wouldn't tell us. He does this thing, there's nothing for about half an hour, and then it's like, right, that's fine, if you don't want to tell us, that's up to you. How do you know when there's something wrong with me when I say there's nothing? And it's like, oh, shit, what is it? Apparently he got off the bus yesterday and he was crossing the road, and there's a little part in the middle of the road where you can wait, and he fell, and I think other school kids laughed at him. Now, I said, Isaac, it's nothing to do with the fact it's you, it's human nature to laugh when people fall. Nobody checked if I was okay. I says, did you get straight back up? Yes. Did you walk off like nothing had happened? Yes. I says, well then people thought you were okay. I said, I've lost count of the amount of videos I've seen you watch with people falling down and you're laughing at it. I says, people falling down is inherently funny. People will laugh at it, don't worry about it. I said, if anybody tries to be funny with you in school about did you enjoy your trip, just tell them, yep, I've sent you a postcard, it's delayed in the post. So, other than that, I can't think of anything else. I can't remember if I told you last week about my outburst on Friday night. I had an outburst with Robert in the car on Friday night. I'm sure I told you. Couldn't hold my temper anymore. It's been coming for months and months. And then his mum had the cheek to tell me that that's not like him at all, and I have to tell her, well, unfortunately there's been several instances where that's, you know, I told her that I'd bitten my tongue previously because I knew he was having difficulty in school, but you know, it had been an ongoing thing for quite a while. But I'm just really cross that I'm expected to take them in and out every single week with no offer of them doing it ever. And her husband sat in the house doing nothing. I know most of the time she's working, but he isn't working. And then for her to say, oh well, if Benny can't bring them in, can you bring them in? But he wants to lie down, he's got a bad back, and then he's at jiu-jitsu the next day and driving to Dublin for a gig. Do you ever feel like people are taking the rip out of you? Well, that's how I feel. So I'm waiting to see what happens, because I'm like got a lot on this week. Not for most people, but for me it's a lot on. I'm not going in on Friday night to Scouts. Darren's going to drop them in. I'm going to wait and see if they ask for a lift. I don't want to go into too much detail because I'm sure I've already told you. You see, I remember telling my mum, so I don't know if it was you I told or my mum I told, but he was being such a little git. Sure, I told you. But what I don't understand is the way he speaks to people is the reason he's being bullied, and his mum won't. She just sees that everyone else is wrong and that her little prince is in the right. And she won't see that the way he talks to people in a condescending, rude, patronising tone is what gets people's backs up, and then that's where the bullying starts. According to Isaac, before he became friends with him, he always used to be complaining about him. Apparently he used to be really rude with the teachers and shout over them and talk over them and all the rest, and that doesn't surprise me one bit. Because he's done it to Darren, he's done it to me. The scout leaders had him pegged within a couple of weeks of him joining. So he really needs an attitude adjustment. But his mother thinks she's doing him a favour by coddling him, if you know what I mean by that. They're there. But she isn't doing him a favour at all. She needs to sit him down and say, right, you need to talk to people with respect. You need to remember you're no better than anyone else. You're all on the same level. Talk to people like you want those people to talk to you. But that would be to expect far too much. Well, thankfully Isaac's settled in fine at school. He's made new friends. Can't think of much else to tell you, to be honest. I'm exhausted. I can't even tell you how tired I am. It's typical. If I have to do something the next day, I never sleep the night before. And last night I tossed and turned all bloody night. So yeah, I'm tired. I might check in with you on the way home if there's anything to tell about my mum's neurology appointment. I'm sure you know what a neurologist is, basically a brain doctor. And with MS they have like changes in the brain. It's a thing called myelin sheath that gets damaged. I'm sure you're not interested in the biology of MS, but she hasn't been very good lately, and I thought it was another infection. But she had a urine test last week and it was clear. When my mum's MS takes a downward turn, she doesn't have a lot of strength as it is, but she goes really floppy and she falls over one side in the chair, and her words are very slurred. She mumbles a lot. She's very hard to understand. So she wants steroids, but she doesn't seem to realise that you can't keep getting steroids. We'll see what the neurologist says today. But I'm glad I'm going, because I get really frustrated normally that she doesn't ask, relevant questions, or the doctor will say something and she won't question so that she better understands what she said. She'll let a person tell her something that she doesn't understand and she won't ask for clarification on it. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to get around this. Why is he stopping? I don't know what to do now. I daren't go around him. I'm approaching a corner. There's a flatbed truck with no back part, just the front part of the truck in front of me, and I slowed right down to about, say we're at 30 now. But this road's so twisty, I won't go around someone until I can see a really big long straight. It always amazes me that people will choose to go round traffic when they can't, and there's traffic coming. People will choose to go round something and they can't see beyond a brow of a hill or a corner. It's like, if something comes out of their way, mate, you're dead. And then Darren will sit and say, if he crashes, we're not stopping. Right, I'll go now because I've nothing else to tell you. I'll maybe check in on the way home if there's anything of any interest and update you. And Alan, I shall remember to film the boat and the gate, because I was talking about my neighbours. Sorry, not my neighbours. The boat of one of my other neighbours that sits in a little section outside my next door neighbour that really annoys her. And I meant to film the boat and I always forget. Although if I ever film myself driving into my cul-de-sac, it's right at the bottom. And also I wanted to show you the incredible workmanship of the gate that was fitted so that we weren't trespassing. So I will try to do that on the way back home if it's not raining. I'll be able to film the boat for you because I'll do it from inside the car when I drive in. Because I think if I go out and start pointing a camera anywhere near her house, I can imagine So yes, I shall catch up with you guys later after the appointment. There you go, just so you can see what I'm seeing. No, it's not after the appointment, I switched it straight on. That's that truck thing. I keep everything crossed, folks, that this thing goes left, because honest to God, he's keeping me late. Anyway, he must be going left, he's in that lane. Oh, fuck's sake. Right, he's gone left, thank God for that. Nice boots, love. Right, I'm here. My parents' neighbours away for a couple of weeks to Turkey, so I can park in her space. I can hear Josephine the cat, them poor bloody cats. Honestly, I think she's got something wrong because she's drooling a lot. I've already taken her cats to the vet before. She never bothers ours. Right, let's go. I can hear Josephine. Let's get this shopping. Oh. Hello, darling. Hello. What are you doing? You're not allowed in yet. I'm sorry. You want some dreamies? Is that what's wrong? I'm going to video getting you into this thing. Right. Seatbelt. I know there's two, I don't know if this is the right one. Right, put your hands on top of that. Let's try it. Right, it's not that one. It's the other one. Why do they need two seatbelts? Who cares? Anybody's guess. The other one's right back there. My God. Right, no, there's two.
I think it says something.
I can't see it from there.
Oh, lovely.
Oh. So we've been to the neurologist. Appointment was at 11:15. Took so long to get my mum into the car. I tried to film it, but it was really difficult. It wasn't back until 2 hours after the appointment time. Didn't get taken. Oh, it was a funeral. Didn't get taken until 50 minutes after the funeral time. Funeral. Listen to me. There's loads of people dressed in black suits with white shirts. I'm assuming it's a funeral. Yeah, they've given her steroids, but they have. Fuck's sake, give me patience. But they have said that they don't think they're going to help. But my mum's adamant she wants them. Steroids help for relapsing remitting MS, which basically means MS where you're on a pretty even keel with what your symptoms are, but then it used to be once a year my mum would take a massive downturn where she'd be like bedbound, she couldn't see properly, she was sick, just loads of symptoms, and that's relapsing remitting. But as she's got older, her MS has become what's called progressive, which means that it progressively just gets worse over time. And steroids don't really help in that situation. But my mum's adamant she wants to. I think the doctor's humouring her and giving her them once. It's a course for 5 days. And she said if they don't see a fantastic change, you know, like a major change, a considerable change, then I suppose it's like proof of the fact that they're not helping. So she's got that. I made sure they knew fully all the issues, symptoms, how she'd worsened, what were her capabilities, what she could do, what she couldn't do. So the neurologist has a really good picture of what's going on. So I'm now going back into the doctor to drop off a urine test for my mum. She can't do it there because she can't get on and off the toilets without specialist equipment, so I've had to come back with the sample up and down to the bloody chemist and the doctors, and they shut half days on Wednesdays. It's Wednesday today, so I'm just running about like a blue arse fly trying to find departments, because she needs to have a completely clear urine test before she can start the steroids, because steroids inhibit your immune system, and if she has an infection, obviously that's not going to be very advantageous. Let's just park one of these. What are these spaces? So I'm going to go bring this wee sample, and I've nothing else to tell you. That's about it. So I'll check in with you guys probably tomorrow. Okay, I'm a little bit off centre on purpose. I'm almost home. Can't beat a bit of Michael Jackson. And I forgot previously to film the boat and caravan because of the saga I told you about the neighbour in the parking. So when I drive into my cul-de-sac, right at the bottom of the cul-de-sac is a boat and a caravan. It's in a little section that's like aside from everyone else. My neighbour's house is the last house on the cul-de-sac on the left-hand side. She has a massive driveway that probably would fit 3 cars at least, and she has got 2 car parking spaces that she could park in right outside her house. But she really has an issue with this guy parking his boat and his caravan where he does. Strictly speaking, he probably shouldn't be doing it, but it's a little section of the cul-de-sac that no one needs to use. It's just there. So it's just really for her to have something else to complain about. And when he took his boat out through the summer, she parked her car in the space. That's a text from Darren. She parked the car in the space so that when he brought his boat back, he'd know where to put it. So that's the lead in to what I'm going to show you around the corner. So I shall turn you around and show you the caravan and boat so you can get an idea. And I will show you the fence that was put on that the guy made a just pig's ear of it. The fence that had to be put on because our neighbour wouldn't let us walk 3 steps on her driveway past the outside of our fence, which you'll also be able to see. If she's not, if she's in, it's going to make it a bit difficult, but try my best. Okay, right. Our cul-de-sac is here on the right. Right, I will drive nice and slow. You can see right at the bottom there's a boat and a caravan, and you can see her house is the end one there. Look at the space there is in front of her house, and look where the caravan and the boat are. And I would also add, this little driveway I have here is 1/3 of the size of hers because she doesn't have a garage where we have a garage. It's massive. I will now show you the gate, guys. There you go, it's a good look for you. Oh, she's not in, that's handy. Hear my dog. Right, okay. That's the boat and the caravan. This is the fence. Look at the gate. Look at the state. Just right on the Darren's opening the door. It's me, yes. I'm just filming the gate to show people. That's the gate. Look how nice the fence is. And that's the gate. Yeah. That's the driveway that she has use of, where you can see at the top there are private property signs, so we're not allowed to walk on it. The issue was our bins are there. We're not allowed to walk on that section of driveway to take them out, so we need to have that installed. Hello? Hello? What day is it? Thursday. Isaac's off school today because they've got some sort of prize giving for older pupils. Thankfully he got all the work he needed to do done last night, so I am in today to take my mum for her flu jab. Not like COVID thing, just a flu jab. We're waiting on Darren. She's got an appointment at a specific time, so I need to be in there. Darren's just spent half an hour in the toilet. I'm a stickler about time, folks. I can't abide being late, and today I can't be late because there's an appointment. And unfortunately, I have a feeling that I left on my parents' car, the winch at the back. There's a little button that you press that like activates the electric. It's a tiny little red button that you press before the electric will work. And I have a really horrible feeling I didn't press that button off yesterday. And it only occurred to me when I woke up this morning. My parents are never up in the morning, so I couldn't phone to say, go out and check. Obviously my mum couldn't anyway. So I just have to wait until I'm actually in. So it's 1 o'clock, which is the time I should be driving down the road right now. Instead I'm waiting. I don't know what he's doing now. He came down the stairs when we went out the door. So I'd been to the toilet for half an hour. I've let the dogs out. I've got the living room all sorted. We have to de-dobby the living room so there's nothing left she can chew. I've done everything in the living room. So literally all he had to do was walk downstairs, grab his keys, grab his coat, done. So no idea what's happening. I can't abide it. I can't abide lateness. Makes me feel now if we run into traffic, or it's like it takes so long to get my mum into her wheelchair and pushed down to the tower centre, and then she'll maybe want to go to the toilet. Here he comes now, which will add more time because getting her onto a steady and getting her into the bathroom and all of that. Right, the door opened and the door shut again. Where is he? Oh, for fuck's sake. See people that say women keep you waiting. I've never kept anybody waiting a day in my life. The photographer tried to make me be late for my wedding because that's tradition and that's what you should do. You should be a little like 5-10 minutes late, and I'm like, no. I've never been late my whole life and I'm not about to start being late now, so. Right, I shall go, but that's what's happening. We're going for a flu jab, and I'm hoping that either my dad went out and checked that button, but there's no reason he would, or I'm hoping that it hasn't drained the battery completely, because the last time it happened my dad left it on, but he left it on for days. It's very easy to do, but we couldn't get the car jump started because the inside of the engine is so difficult to work out that we couldn't work out where to actually put the, I mean, I'm not saying we're thick, but it's all weirdly encased, so you couldn't tell where to put the jump leads. So I'm just hoping and praying that it hasn't drained the battery flat. So we shall see. I'll let you know.
It's got the main fuse box attached to the battery as your dad's car.
Well, I know Brendan came down and he managed to jump start it right away. Like, he didn't think it was weird looking or anything, but I've never seen anything like that, a car engine like that before.
Brendan did?
Yeah, Brendan jump started it for him last time. Remember we couldn't?
No, they didn't. The guy from the garage came out and jumped it.
Well, there was another time Brendan came and jumped it.
No, it was the guy from the garage. Because when I explained to them at the garage, said, oh, we'll get one of our guys to come out and have a look.
Right, so we shall, that's been me even more worried now. So we shall see what happens. I don't know if it will drain. Yeah, it's obviously not like leaving a car headlights on. It's not. It's just a tiny little red light in the back of the car that you push that engages the electric so that you can use the winch.
Oh, there's going to be an angry call when I get home.
Why?
SSE have now sent me their outstanding electric bill.
Were you in there? Was that what you were looking at?
Uh-huh.
So we're waiting in the car while you were reading post?
No, just looking to see what the hell it was.
But I saw it was, I didn't look at it, but the first page of it said there was zero balance.
Outstanding balance, 700 and something quid.
It says zero below it. And I didn't read it, I just did a quick...
I just looked at the account number at the top matches the one for that house, the one with the ones and the 8s in it.
So why are they sending it to our address now for our previous address that we haven't been there for 3 years?
Just like, why were they calling me to tell me that I'd been fiddling with the thing when it wasn't me?
Right, so anyway, that's more shouting when we get home if that is the case. Oh, saying what? It is Friday. Probably the only footage you have of me. I really apologise, guys. This should be called Lisa Drives. That's what this vlog should be called. Because there's literally never enough all happening apart from me driving. So I'm on my way into the hairdressers. I've washed my hair, so you can see all those great. I'll show you better when we get to the car park. So today they are putting another, it's like a stripper in my hair, or Mrs. to try and lift a bit more of the colour. What I don't understand though is then they have to put a dye over that's close to what it lifted up to tie it all together, because obviously your hair doesn't lift up exactly the same all over. It'll lift up lighter at the top and a bit darker at the bottoms, which is why it had so much cut off. I think she's going to try and make me cut more off, but I'm happier with the length it is now, so even though I still want it longer, I don't want it any shorter than it is. It's a mess at the minute because I haven't put conditioner on, and I haven't straightened it or done anything with it. I've just washed it so that it's clean to go to the hairdressers. So we'll see. I'm expecting a slightly lighter brown. What I would be really happy with would be like a little hint of like auburn, like a gingery. I'd be really happy if they could manage that, because I love like auburn red, anything like that. I really like it. So it's going to be a long process, but we'll see what happens. Oh, I didn't check. I've got 2 school buses in front of me, so I don't know what's going on there. It's 5 to 2 in the afternoon, so I don't know why there's 2 school buses. I think I've got, it's another thing, you always have to tip the hairdresser when you're finished. And I pay for my hair on my card, so I'll have to make sure I've got some money in my bag to tip the hairdresser. It's one of the few people there's not many people in the UK that you tip. In the US you tip everyone. I mean anyone that as much as touches your bag. Someone that puts, when Magical Express was a thing, well, I'm preaching to the converted here, I'm sure. The bus that takes you from the airport to your hotel, the person that puts your bags in the bus, they literally just pick up the bag and put it in, and you tip them. When you get to the hotel, they try and take your bags to your room and you have to tip them. You must tip the cleaners that come into your room. You tip every Uber that you take. It's just like so much tipping. What we did last time with and it's not because Darren is one of these people that doesn't like tipping. It's not that I don't want to tip people, it's that we're not flush, we don't have lots of money. We're one of these people that don't, people say, oh, but they earn hardly nothing. Well, we're skint too, folks. It's last time we went, you can do this thing when you stay at a Disney hotel where you can actually say that you don't want your room to be cleaned. Mousekeeping, I think they call it. So if you say, I'm happy not to have and when you say cleaned, our hotel's always spotless because we're not in it very much. We take out our rubbish ourselves and empty it. The hotel is, I don't like to be in a really messy environment, so I don't make me. Sometimes when I see how people have their hotel rooms and how they leave them, my mind boggles because I can't get over how, what kids must have been on a trip somewhere. There's a lot of parents outside the school. Yeah, I'm one of these people that makes the beds and I tidy the room for the cleaners. When I leave, they come in to pretty much, obviously I know they have to clean for the next person, but nothing's ever dirty. I clean the bathrooms, I shine the taps, all that sort of stuff. So I don't need cleaners coming in, so we didn't have to do the tip and the cleaners thing. So that, as a matter of fact, if you don't, well, this is how it used to work, it might be different now. If you don't have them come into your room, they give you money back. I think they give you like, I don't know, $50 or $60 or something. It's maybe like $5 per day that you're there. They will pay you for them cleaners to not have to tidy your room, and that suits me dandy-o. So that's what we did last time. But Disney now, what I'm finding is they're taking away an awful lot of perks. There's no Magical Express anymore from the airport to the hotel, so now you have to pay your own transport, which is, I think you're looking at a minimum of $50 minimum, and then you'll need to tip. Because we've got 3 big suitcases, we're going to need a large Uber or something. It's a specific type, and that's more expensive. There's no fast pass system for free anymore if you stay on site. Now you have to pay for something called Genie Plus, and then even that doesn't cover the more popular rides. You have to pay individually for the more popular rides on top of Genie Plus, which we're not doing. We're just hoping for the best. They've taken away the late hours on an evening, which we really liked because none of us are morning people. The time you can get in the morning has changed to half an hour, which is just ridiculous. And what was the other thing? I can't remember. It's gone. It was in my mind and then it went back out again. But basically there's so many perks that you used to have for staying on site, and now they've removed them. And we did weigh up how much it would be if we hired a car and instead of stayed off site. But what we very quickly worked out is when you pay for the car and you pay for the gas and you pay for the insurance, you have to pay to park at your hotel every night. You have to pay $25 to park at the Disney park. So if you're going to a Disney park every day, and if you want to hop to a different park, when we added it up, the difference was not enough that it made it worth it. The one good thing about the hotels for me is that the free buses, the free shuttles that basically drop you off right at the park, and you don't have to stress and worry about how you're going to get there, where you're going to park, how long you're going to have to walk. You don't have to worry about any of that. I think it works if you go in a large group, which I know, my friend Kelly always did with her family. It was like a big large group of them. And I know Sue's, when she went, they went as a big group, as a big family group. And it works then because there's enough of you to split the cost. And it's cheaper in the long run. But when you're just one family and there's only 3 of you, and one of those is a kid, it doesn't work out as saving you enough money to make it worth it. So yeah, we shall see what happens, but we're really, really badly in need of a break. By the time when we go, it'll have been 4 years since we've done anything. I mean, we haven't even had a night away, nothing. It's maybe nicer. You sort of you think, oh, well, we could go for a weekend to here. But when you weigh up, no, I tell a lie, we did go for a weekend away, apparently. Kelly, you'll know where I'm going with this. We booked to go to Nottingham for a few days in 2020, February 2020. Well, we all know what happened in March 2020. But me and Darren, Isaac, basically we got to Nottingham, we got to Kelly's house, we were sat chatting. Isaac started to look really poorly, his cheeks were really red. Alice was really young. She'd had problems with her lungs and breathing and stuff, and I was really worried that COVID wasn't a thing here. I was really worried that Isaac would give her a bug of some description, so we went back to the hotel, and that as the night went on, Isaac got worse and worse. His temperature was coming in at 42. It wouldn't come down with Calpol. Well, in the end, we had to call NHS Direct, and they sent us the next morning to a urgent care centre. Basically just said he had a fever, they said COVID, like I say, COVID wasn't a thing at the time. It was the start of February. So because Isaac clearly had something wrong with him, I daren't go back to Kelly's house. I daren't, so we went home. But we'd paid for the hire car for the weekend, we'd paid for the hotel, we paid for the flights. We couldn't get any of that back. And then we had to get extra flights to go back home again. And then me and Darren came down sick, and it turns out that we all had COVID. Well, we were never diagnosed with COVID, but because there wasn't the tests at the time, but Darren was so ill. We'd had COVID after that, and you know, we weren't well, but nowhere near. Darren was coughing up this stuff that was dark brown and black. He couldn't move off the seat. He was really sick. So we're assuming that we had COVID. So that's what happened on our one attempt at a weekend away in 2020. We had about 2 hours talking to Kelly and Dave, and then we had to come home. And you know, the money we put aside to do that was supposed to pay for, you know, a weekend away. So it's not like we could do it again, because we couldn't afford to. So yeah, we really badly need a break. So we thought, right, damn it, Universal's meant to be doing this big new park. I've forgotten what it's called now. So even though next time we went to Disney we were meant to get Universal as well, we couldn't afford it for next year. We just wouldn't have had the money. And Darren says, look, they're going to have this big park in the future, so why don't we, there's someone on the wrong side of the road, so why don't we do Disney, skip Universal again like we did last time, and then we can go back sometime in the future when Universal is up and running, when they've got this new park. So that's what we decided to do. Thankfully my mum's helping us out with some spending money, or we wouldn't be able to afford to if she wasn't, because we lost over £1,000 of our savings to Isaac's uniform and laptop. So it's quite a lot of money went on that. And I mean, Christmas this year, I've already said previously, we've been able to buy friends presents, and this year it's like, no, we can't. I've had to email several different couple friends of ours and say, look, please don't buy us anything for Christmas, because we literally aren't doing Christmas this year outside of family, because we can't afford to. We don't have the money. So yeah, I mean, I'm not doing any saving towards Disney in November or December or January, because I have to cover Christmas. Darren's 50th in January. So I literally need to be doing no saving of any description for about 6 months as a minimum, just to get people a small token gift. And it's like, no, you need to draw the line somewhere, Lisa. And you know, I've decided to, you know, just tell people that please don't. And I'm sure other people, with the cost of living right now, I'm sure other people are feeling it in their pockets too. But yeah, and I've whinged the whole way in, haven't I? What time is it? 7 minutes past 2. My appointment's at 2:30. So I should probably be there for about 20 past, I would say. And hopefully, I hate the process. There's nothing worse than having to sit and look at yourself in the mirror. Nothing worse. And make small talk when you're really not that interested in a person. And you don't do an awful lot to be able to say, oh, well, we did this and we went there and we did, you know, because it's like, where do I ever go? So yeah. Oh yeah, in other news, I got a text last night from Robert's mum. I hate to ask after the rudeness of last week, but are you alright to bring my 2 into Scouts tomorrow night? Can't get over the gall. Really can't get over the gall of it. He's ready with an apology, and he's had a good talking to. It's not going to work, because he'll be fine for a couple of weeks and then it'll fall back again. But I have to sit in this hairdresser's for at least 2 hours, maybe longer. And one of the things that the stripper that they put in your hair is really potent, so you can't even go out and sit like you would in the chair with dye in your hair. You have to like hover over the basin, so you're like it's not comfortable for you. If you've got a bad back, it's really uncomfortable, and I know I'm going to be all kinds of sore tonight, so I'm not driving them in. Darren's taking them in tonight, but it means 20 miles extra driving, because usually we'd go in, and I'd stay at my mum's for the couple of hours where he was at Scouts in town, so 10 miles in, 10-12 miles in, same back. But tonight, because I'm not going in, Darren has to drop them in and come home, and then again go in and come home again. So that to drop 3 kids at jiu-jitsu, that's 40 miles. Well, a bit over, but you know what I mean. It's and she said again, oh, when Benny gets his jiu-jitsu grading over, he can help bring them in. It's like, he doesn't do jiu-jitsu on Fridays. He does it on Tuesdays and sometimes Saturdays. Don't do it on Fridays. So I don't know why she keeps saying when Benny gets this jiu-jitsu over, because he's not physically doing jiu-jitsu on a Friday night. He's in his arse in the house. So we'll see if that comes to pass. You'll see if you ever see me saying on a Friday night, I'm not having to take them in tonight. That'll be interesting. But if my son had completely disrespected someone, shouted at them to the point that one of the parents actually lost their rag, would I the next week come and say, can you take my kid again after that happening? No, I bloody well would not. But she has. What can you do, hey? Don't mention it, love. See, people, when you let them out and they don't know she's driving a Mercedes, that says it all. Let's have another complaint. Let's complain again, folks. The government have released, is it the budget? What is it they've released? The thing about cuts on tax and stamp duty on houses. Now, I'm sorry, they're talking about houses up to 425 grand won't have stamp duty. I'm sorry, if you can afford a house anywhere near 425 grand, you're not struggling for money. I mean, working class folks struggle to afford a house that's, I mean, when me and Darren were both working full time, we still couldn't have afforded a mortgage because we both had very average standard wages. And if we could have afforded a mortgage, it would have been around the, people in the south of England's going to be laughing now, it would have been around the 100,000 mark if we were lucky. Now, you're thinking, where can you get a house for 100,000? Not very many places. You know what I've done? I've gone the wrong way. I'm now driving through a really busy town centre when I've got an appointment. Come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, let me out. That's me waffling. And now I've gone the wrong way. Wonderful. So if you have a house worth or if you want to buy a house up to 425,000, they've abolished the stamp duty, but that's not the best of it. They've cut a certain type of tax from 45% to 40%, which means the average normal lower earner is like, there's a guy on a bike just, and when I say bike I mean push bike, trying to let me see if I can. Okay, look at him. He deserves to get knocked off that flipping bike. So if he's going to do it again, he's doing it again. He's pulling back out. He's on the footpath, pulling in and out of the road. Right, he has just tell you in a minute, I'm just letting someone across the road. There was a van in front of me pulling into a loading bay, and he just cut from the footpath out into the middle of the loading bay as that van was trying to pull into the loading bay. Fucking idiot. Yeah, and then he's going up the road and doing this to signal. Or you could have done with signaling when you cut off the footpath onto the road, mate. So this 45 to 40% means that your average Joe Bloggs working a wage that's struggling, your low earner, is likely to save £14 per month. Your higher earner is likely to save on average, and I don't mean top of the range earner, I mean higher earner, 200 quid a month. So they've said there's going to be tens of thousands of benefit for people that are high earners. So basically people that aren't struggling, people that have plenty of money, are going to be better off each month by about 200 quid. If you're struggling to afford to heat or eat, you'll be better off by 14 quid. Thanks, Tories. And while we're at that, our government's even worse. DUP, our government basically has to have two It has to be power sharing. There have to be 2 seats, first and second. DUP have always got first seat. This year Sinn Féin got first seat. DUP said before the election, if Sinn Féin gets first seat, we will refuse to sit in government with them. That's exactly what they did. So we've had no government. They said they're not sitting in government because of this backstop protocol, which is bullshit. They're not sitting in government because they refused to take second place to Sinn Féin. So basically, we're meant to have a democracy where we can vote who we want in. I didn't vote Sinn Féin, incidentally. But when the DUP don't get what they want, they refuse to sit in government. Nobody forces them. And what's now going to happen is we're going to have another election so that they can get voted in and be first. So the first election didn't matter. They're not. So the long and short of that is, you know, this cost of living payment that everyone's getting, £400. People in Northern Ireland might not get it because we've got no government sitting. That's lovely, isn't it? So they won't go to their work, so the people that voted for them aren't going to get any money because there's no one there to do everything that needs to be done. Right, I need a, is that a space? I'm in the car park now, folks. Right, there's a space there. Take that one. So folks, I'm here. That's the greys. Look at that. It's better under here. Look at that. So that's what we're dealing with, folks. That's about 9 or 10 weeks of growth. So they're doing another stripper today. So let's see. Next time you see me, my hair will be done. Hopefully it won't be any shorter. If it is, you see the way it's darker at the bottom? It'll be because they've encouraged me to cut the bottom off. So we shall see. I shall catch up with you guys later. You're thinking your hair still looks dark, Lisa. It does, but it's like a little bit redder. It's because the ends are quite dark. She did get it lighter than this, but because of the back of my hair, apparently, which I can't see obviously, hasn't got much grey in it. All the grey that is in my hair is all round the front. Dear God, somebody's just pulled out in front of me from the left, going around the roundabout. 2 people did actually. Well, one of them's got an R plate, which means they've, in Northern Ireland, once you've passed your driving license, driving test, you have to display an R instead of an L for a year. It means restricted, and it means basically they're not allowed to drive over a certain speed. I think it's 45 actually for a year. And that person just completely tried to cut me up. So they obviously have no common sense. It's a young lad. Yeah, so it's not the best light to see it in, but it's like you can maybe sort of see it's like a red coppery. So although it's still dark, it's come up a couple of shades lighter. So I'm happy with it because it looks healthy, and it's not that horrible flat black that my hair was. When the light hits it, it's got nice tones that run through it. So although to other people it probably looks exactly the same, it doesn't look much different. To me, I'm happy, I like it. I'm quite happy with this length as well. So yes, that's done. And they remembered that they overcharged me 20 quid last time, so I didn't have to tell them, so that wasn't embarrassing. The girl charged me for something extra that I didn't have last time, so this time they took it off £20, so it was £20 cheaper. So they have this offer on for this shampoo and conditioner that's really good for like red treated hair. It's usually 50 quid a bottle, she said, but they've got an offer, it's 25 for both. Revlon Professional Colour Restart Protective Melting Conditioner. Well, anyway, we'll see what it's like. She said it's very good. So when it was on offer, it basically, the money that I got off the haircut paid for that, bar a fiver. So we shall go home. It is 25 to 6. Have a bite of tea, and then Darren is taking Isaac, Robert and Kayla into Scouts. I've got a review to record for Leo at Geek Legion of Doom of a movie that he gave me to review for him, so I'm going to do that this evening when Darren's out. Oh, what a beautiful dog. Oh, that was such a gorgeous dog. That's just... what? So, no, it's not a St. Bernard. I think they're maybe called Burmese mountain dogs. Oh, there's a rainbow. A really nice rainbow. I'm so easily distracted. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm back again on the 1st of December to have my roots done. And then 8-9 weeks after that, they'll try and lift a colour up again. So it's a long process, but you have to have a long process to keep your hair healthy. And I've never looked after my hair. I'm a very low maintenance person. So basically I would wash my hair and stick it in a bun until it dried, and that was it. There was no looking after of it. Conditioner, that's as far as I went to look after my hair, and I dyed my roots and stuff like that, but I don't like going to the hairdresser. I still don't like going to hairdressers. It's the sitting looking at yourself for all that length of time. I don't like doing it. But my hair always feels really soft and it looks really tidy after the hairdresser, so that's good. So at least there's that. So yes, you're following this. I should take a photograph every time and put them together. I come out of the hairdressers until I get the end effect. But she basically told me, the girl that did my hair, the girl that dried my hair last time, I asked her what percentage of my hair was grey, and she said probably 80%. And I thought, oh, I didn't think it was that bad. But today, the girl that normally does she maybe sometimes doesn't dry it, she does everything else. She says, no. She says, round the back of your head, you've got barely any grey. Your roots are still very dark, almost black. My hair is naturally very dark brown, but people have always assumed it's black. But round, like underneath, like this bit that I showed you earlier, and to the side, like where a man would get greying temples. Well, that's exactly what I have, the temples and the underneath. And the top part is maybe 40%, and the back's hardly nothing, which is weird. So she said, the difficulty is trying to lighten your hair, but you're also having to try and lift up your natural colour at the back and trying to match it all together. So even though when they lift it, they do get it lighter than this in a lot of places, they have to take it back down again so it all matches. So she had to put 2 different colours on my hair to make it match in. So yes, that's the boring long story about my hair, guys. So now if I could lose a bit of weight, I could maybe get a French put in to hide the wrinkles on my forehead. It's like some people have laughter lines here from laughing a lot. I've got forehead wrinkles from raising my eyebrows a lot. I never knew I did this. Darren says I'm always raising my eyebrows. He thinks it's really funny. So my favourite expression is eyebrow raising. So that's why I've got a wrinkly forehead, guys. So there you are. That's the tip of the day. Don't look surprised. Don't laugh too much. Or at least I don't have them ones. The ones where you frown all the time and you have these ones. I don't have them ones, so that's good. That's something. Right, so I'm going to go, guys. It's nice. It's really nice and sunny. What temperature is it? I don't have it written anywhere what temperature it is, which is... I like to know. Why does it not tell me what temperature it is? That's no use. Right, I do know it's 5:39 on Friday the 23rd of September. I know that much. See the sun shining on my hair, making it look nice colours. Yes. Right, I shall go. I shall speak to you guys later. I'll check in with you later on. It's that time of year, folks. Strictly. My hair looks really dark under this. And I put a picture on Facebook and it was almost ginger. That was in the sun. That's how different it looks. Anyway, Strictly has just started. And I've just discovered that Fleuriste is on it. Really? That's fair? Fleuriste, who is an amazing dancer as it is.
Oh.
I know she's a singer, but the dog's behind you. Have any of you watched her videos? Have you seen how good a dancer this girl is? I have a very funny feeling that Will Mellor will be like a secret, you know, like him from Emmerdale a few years ago that was really good. I think he might be like him. Do you want to go on the internet with no shirt on, Isaac?
No.
Then I suggest you stay out of the way. I've got my blanket. Isaac's overheated and he's got no shirt for some reason. So I'm going to enjoy, a bit of Strictly. I still can't go over how dark my hair looks. It's, oh, she's got her hair done in that style that I really like. You know, like that 20s style where it's like wavy. It's lovely.
I just saw what if I threw those out?
Right, so I am off to watch some Strictly. First night, let me say this, Fleuriste's gonna win. That's my tip before the thing. I haven't even seen her do a dance routine yet, but I've seen her dance in her videos and that's enough. Fleuriste for the win. We'll check in later and let you know what we thought. Hello! So I didn't end off the vlog for the week. It's Monday now. I'm going to end off last week's vlog. I think the last time I recorded was potentially Saturday. Yes, I was watching Strictly. So Sunday I had a really bad pain day. I think it's leftovers from the hairdresser on front. My hair looks such a different colour when it's not outside. You can see it's still red, but it's not like as red as it is in the sunlight. Yeah, watched Strictly on Saturday night. Sunday I spent just vegetating on the sofa because I was in so much pain. I think it was from like uncomfortable position. I was sitting in at the hairdresser for 3 hours. I watched Lord of the Rings. I finished the Dahmer series. What else? Oh god. So Darren took Isaac into Scouts on Friday night with his friend and his friend's sister, who was ready with an apology, obviously. So his mum told me, because he shouldn't have been speaking to people like that. Because I wasn't there, because I stayed at home on Friday night, because I was a bit achy, and also because I'm not good at a person apologising to me when I know they don't mean it. And that maybe sounds horrible, but this lad's been made apologise, and anyway, I thought, right, I'm not going to be ungracious, I'll just not be there and I can apologise to Darren and Isaac. He didn't give the apology because I wasn't there and he wanted me to be there too. I bet you're laughing, Kelly. I bet you find that really funny. So I have to be there for the apology next Friday night. How are you supposed to say that's okay when you're thinking that's not okay? So anyway, I have to say that's okay. So not only did I get a text on the Thursday night to ask if I was bringing them on the Friday, I then get a text when he gets in on the Friday night, and his mum's obviously said, well, did you apologise? And he says, no, I didn't, because Lisa wasn't there. I got a text on the Friday night when they've just been dropped off by Darren to say, oh, he didn't apologise because you weren't there, but he'll apologise next time. So I'm bringing them next time. Getting really hacked off, guys. What can I say? She said something like, oh, Benny, her husband, Benny will help with taking them when this grading for jiu-jitsu's over. There's no jiu-jitsu on Fridays. I'm not entirely sure. There's jiu-jitsu's on Tuesday nights, and we saw him at jiu-jitsu on a Saturday. What on earth? He's in the house on a Friday night sitting on his arse. So I'm not entirely sure how that interferes with dropping their kids and helping someone else that's been bringing their kids for over a year. So anyway, that's what's happening this week. We definitely are convinced the neighbour has a boyfriend because she's not. Darren says she wasn't there first thing this morning, but then her car showed up later. So I think they're like, she stays at his sometimes and he stays at hers. Please God, if you're out there and you've any sort of empathy for me at all, please just say your prayers that, or whatever, if you don't say your prayers, that she moves into his house and they move out. Oh Jesus, I will throw a party. There will be balloons, there will be streamers, I will hire a bouncy castle, you name it. I will have cake if that happens. So keep your fingers crossed. So what else can I tell you? I can't think of anything. There was something else. Isaac's still getting on okay at school. He's still a bit cleary-headed, not writing stuff down. He started getting like more homework now, so we're having to get that done. I'm sure there was something else to tell you. I took my mum to the neurologist on Wednesday and she got steroids, which She started on Friday. I spoke to her yesterday, Sunday, and they didn't seem to have been making much difference at the moment. There's only 5 days worth, and the doctor said she did expect to have a major difference if they were going to help at all, but she seemed to be of the opinion that it wouldn't help. I think she was giving them to my mum to say, look, I've told you these aren't going to help. Let me prove it. Here you go. So I'll see. I'm in tomorrow to see her, so we'll see how she is. But other than that, I can't think of anything remotely interesting that's happening. That's probably not. I took her down to Boots on Thursday to have her flu jab. She also had her COVID booster at the same time. So that's all done and dusted. The guy that gave it looked about 18. He wasn't. He was a pharmacist, so he has to have been like mid-20s. But he looked so young. I was like, oh my goodness. It just shows you how old you're getting when you look at normal people and you think, they look so young. So yeah, that has been what's been going on this week, guys. So thank you for watching. I shall catch up with you again next week on another Kit and Caboodle.
Fuck's sake, mate. Fucking bollocks this is. I shouldn't have to fucking do this shit, mate. I'm the king. What the fuck is this here? Can you just fucking move this out of the way? Fucking hell, mate. Being king is bollocks. I'm fucking done with this shit.